merely 5 hours after their arrest today.
Other people, it took 28 hours in previous days.
And then you got separated from Caleb and Tegan during this time. They had already made their way to the parking facility where Tegan's car was. You were still making your way off the bridge. We were thinking I was thinking while I was on the phone with you, it seemed as though from what you were saying that there was the possibility you may be about to get arrested. And so you gave me the number for the advocacy lawyer, and then shortly thereafter you seemed fairly certain that you were not going to be arrested and you were not with the main group any longer. So what happened from there?
So the second time that we felt we were in danger of arrest was once we crossed into Brooklyn on the Brooklyn Bridge and we saw the other protesters being taken away in municipal buses and having their bottleneck barricaded by municipal buses. We ended up going to a park, I believe it was called Liberty Park, which is in Brooklyn. We began a sort of soapbox session where people who just wanted to speak out and share their mind on what was happening were allowed to speak. And towards the end of this soapbox session, one of the coordinators came and let everybody know that the police had been heard online or on the walkie-talkie that they were sending municipal buses down to the park that we were in to make more mass arrests. At that time, we diplomatically decided that we should A, split up, and B, if we don't split up, walk back on the Manhattan Bridge. Dawn and I chose to continue walking and recording with the protesters. So by the time the announcement that the buses were coming to the Liberty Park for more mass arrests, there was a police presence that was slowly building with the group that was there in the park, to the point that there were about 60 officers. So the group that we were a part of that began walking across Manhattan Bridge back to Zuccotti Plaza were being escorted without discussion by the police. People were kind of asking questions and they were unwilling to give information. And the group self-organized to accommodate as many pedestrian laws as we could consider, including pressing ourselves to the right side of the foot traffic lane so that people who were going the opposite way could still pass, and making sure that we don't cross a red hand, the don't cross sign.
Would you like to, can I add something?
Yes.
While we were at the park, we were informed through, community informal information passing, this thing that we call mic check. Mic check! And he said, that we are allowed to be here as far as he knows, but there's park regulations. And if we're breaking those regulations, we can get arrested. But he claims he doesn't know what those regulations are. Since we are not allowed to have megaphones or any sort of amplifying device, one person will holler out, mic check, the surrounding people will parrot back, mic check, getting the attention of the other people in the group, and it'll happen probably one or two more times after that initial time.
getting more attention, and then the one person will speak in partial pieces of sentences, and the rest of the group will communicate.
The person delivering the message breaks their message down into about 3 words, and then as loud as they can, everyone around them who hear those 3 words will yell them out, and that would allow anyone else around to go ahead and hear what's going on. The benefit of that is that it's entirely organic and diplomatic. You never really know who's going to call out mic check, and as soon as you hear it, you don't question who says it. You try and amplify anyone's ideas as loud as you can. It's been a real benefit in organizing everyone while maintaining an organic nature. It's a really great idea, and it's kind of what's been allowing us to communicate effectively and self-organize.
So what I wanted to say about the mic check happening today, that's what the soapbox was today. Everybody was saying things, and the entire crowd was amplifying. However, there was a piece of information that came through pretty much as soon as we got to the park, that somebody had information that the police said that we were allowed to be at the park. However, there are park regulations, and at the same time, the police officer did not know what those regulations were. So we used social media and our smartphones and got on Google and checked out the regulations for that specific park and abided by those rules.
We found out that you couldn't smoke cigarettes. There are quite a number of smokers who walk along with the protest, but I did notice that as soon as everyone went to their Google phone and found out that we weren't allowed to smoke cigarettes at the park, not a single person lit up a cigarette the whole time we were there. It was incredible. And right before we left, this is kind of another key component that sort of speaks to the zeitgeist of this movement. The concept of pack in and pack out is very strong here. And even when we pass through as a group that's protesting through something like a park, the last thing that we say will be a mic check so that everyone makes sure they pick up trash around them, leave the place cleaner than we found it, and in that way kind of show the concern that we have for the communities as we're doing this protest, and not just trying to force our voice into being heard. There's a lot of consideration coming out of this group at the same time that they're being made sure to be heard.
Is there uniformity in, like, what's the uniformity in the purpose that people sense from one another, or is it mostly, like you said, like the mic check and stuff like that, like the way that they're functioning together, or do you sense like a uniform purpose for being there?
The spectrum of people out here are astonishing. There are people from all walks of life, all over the country. Every race is out here. I've seen signs written in Chinese. I've seen signs written in Spanish. I've seen Arabic signs. Of course, there's English. There are, as you said, there was a 12-year-old girl who was arrested today. So there are little kids running around. There's a group of elderly women running around in yellow, sort of over plastic coats. There are all kinds of people out here. There's kind of like almost a fatherly or motherly nature to the older people. They're kind of like really encouraging the younger generation and sort of giving guidance in a lot of ways. We've spoken to a couple different college professors who have given us ideas on tips on how to organize, how to protect ourselves with these nonviolent procedures. They've given tips on just protest in general, as this generation is just kind of like figuring out how to do that.